I'd like to hear from you what your experiences are when you run a promotion, maybe a three-part question, and then I'll let you answer. One, what do you find effective in terms of the duration of the promotion? Is it a 30-day? Is it 60 days? What is that sweet spot? That's one of the things from manufacturing I wrestle sometimes with in terms of length of a promotion. Secondly, how do you motivate your organization to drive success in that promotion? How do you stimulate? Is there a program for sales? Is there a separate program for counter guy inside? So as a manufacturer, I'm always looking at making sure the wheels are running, all four wheels are running, as opposed to one part of your organization. So that's important for me there as well from that stuff. And last final point. Do you find it more effective if you focus on one, let's say, manufacturer's product, or do you find often when you do promotion, you integrate it with other manufacturers? Just want to hear your comments on that.
Okay, so hopefully I'm going to cover all this, but I'm going to start by saying that we strategically choose partners for the year. And we highlight those partners in a different way. So everybody knows what a spiff is? Does everybody know? Okay. So we typically will only offer a spiff to the manufacturers that we've partnered with for that year. And that doesn't mean that the other manufacturers are any less important, but we just try to give our partners a little bit of a leg up. So when we put out a promotion, I think it depends if it's a national promotion that the manufacturers come up with. It doesn't seem, that's something that we have to either choose to do with what you've already laid out, or sometimes we won't do it at all because it doesn't make sense to our market. And we're allowed to do that. And one thing I can tell you with our company is we don't have to do everything that everybody presents to us. The other thing is to not muddy the water. Our manufacturers know that they're not to go directly to our sales team and offer a spiff. They're just not allowed to do that, because if I'm spiffing something for Siemens and Eaton comes along behind the scenes and says, at every counter I'm giving out $25, we put the halts to that, and they listen. So again, it's about the relationship. So I think it depends on what kind of promotion it is, what kind of product it is. I think 30 days sometimes is enough. I think people lose interest beyond 30 days. Sometimes if it's a spiff and we want our guys to really pay attention, change behavior, maybe 60 days, but then we throw some things in to remind them every week or every other week. Hey, whoever sold the next whatever, I'm going to shoot you out a Starbucks card or whatever. What was the third part of your question?
Integration.
You typically focus on a specific product when you run a promotion, or is it multiple products, maybe multiple manufacturers?
Right, so typically it's not multiple manufacturers when it comes to a promotion. We do have a monthly promotion that's 10 vendors on a direct mailer with little special pricing. To me, that's just part of our regular scheme of things, but promotion is usually directed toward one manufacturer. Then we decide whether it's a product category or a specific product.
And how do you reward your people? So if you're running, let's say you're running the program as opposed to manufacturer driving a program or a marketing program. Let's say you're going to run it and you choose to run it with a manufacturer A. How do you incent? Is it really incented only through your sales organization that you drive this program or promotion? How do you motivate your counter guy at the same time, or your inside person as well, to make it successful?
Right. So is anybody here part of AD distributors? Okay, how about AD Rewards? Are you part of that? So we have found, so I don't know if the manufacturers know, or some of you manufacturers might know what AD Rewards is. So AD, the buying group, and I'm not trying to trash AD, but AD, the buying group, has started a thing called AD Rewards. And they have manufacturers within AD that decided to partner with them on this. So every sale of a whatever, our salespeople sell, they get 1 point.
Counter sale, right?
Counter sale. Counter and inside only, okay? They get 1 point for every dollar. They're not changing their behavior. They are selling whatever they would typically sell, and now they're redeeming their points for great prizes. So our spiffs now come up against that, because our spiffs are about driving awareness and changing behavior. So I've had a little bit of a roadblock when it comes to that, so I have to be a little more innovative on the things that I come up with. And at the end of the day, we don't like to just give out gift cards. We like to give them something tangible so that they can remember it 6 months later or the following year, that's something that they've won.
And just from a manufacturing side, some of those spiffs, I'm not calling anyone out in particular, pay back to $1. right? Not for incremental growth.
Right.
So you need to be really careful who you're riding with here, because again, there's only so many dollars to go around. You definitely want to grab mind share, but if you're paying for business that you probably would have received anyway, is that a smart strategic decision?
And
I say no.
Yeah, and I've also been known to not pay out a spiff if they haven't reached the proper goals. You know, if I purchase, for example, I have a power washer right now that was supposed to go out as a prize to one of my spiffs, and they just did not meet the sales goal. They didn't even meet like the cost of the power washer. So I'm like, you know, big fail, whether it was my fault, their fault, either way, I don't just give to give.
So Mike, real quick, from an information standpoint, what are you looking for from distributors and manufacturers to keep that flow going to the construction supply chain in terms of data, content, information? What is it that you need in order to be successful?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, we went through a cycle about 2 years ago where distributors were highly frustrated because they weren't getting the information that they needed to enrich their websites and to be able to even drive their ERP systems the way they wanted, or their warehouse automation systems. So we finally got, I say we, as distributors, finally got the manufacturer's attention, and a lot of the CEOs that are our shareholders said, you know, tell us what it is that you need and then give us some time and we'll provide it. And so that's what led to defining the 43 critical fields of data that every product in the electrical channel should have populated, and then going beyond that should be excellent. You know, so that if somebody puts an attribute out there, it says it's a blue switch, if you go look at the image that's supplied with that, it better be a blue switch, not a red switch. So, you know, a lot of it's just communications, and whether, again, back to sales or whatever, but, you know, I think marketing folks in electrical distributors oftentimes are very, very aware of what they need to promote a product. Sometimes I think we need to get better at defining what it is that we need and being able to ask the manufacturer not only for promotional programs, but also, hey, I need this data to make my website really work. And I'm trying to shift sales, change behavior, like Janet was talking about, from having people just walk into the counter, that I want them to go to my website. And let me just say one more thing about it. You know, I lived through the era when a lot of manufacturers were trying to shift orders from paper to EDI. And what did they do? They offered incentives, right? A lot of manufacturers said, you know, we'll give you a couple of points off if you send it in via EDI, because guess what? I don't have to have pay somebody to re-enter that and have errors, and then, you know, the cost escalates. So, you know, when you're trying to shift business to digital, and you're trying to shift a guy from coming into the counter or calling up, what kind of incentives are you giving him? And are you paying the inside sales guy if the guy puts the order on the web? And most distributors will tell you, well, heck no. You know, we're trying to save money through that website. Well, all it takes is an inside guy going, I don't know if I'd use that website because, you know what, the content's not really all that great. You just call me. And, you know, that becomes a self-defeating process. So I think this clear communication is really, really important, that, you know, we're a facilitator, and that's all we need.
To piggyback one thing that you guys talk about is I've won 3 60-inch flat panel televisions, a Yeti cooler, of course, and I can't name a couple of other things. I didn't even know I was winning them. So it really wasn't driving me, but there was somebody who came and said, for the next month, you know, I can kind of set my own pricing on anything. So, I mean, it's within reason. I get my hand slapped if there's something, but I set my own pricing to my customers of whatever it is. I make my margin based on that. So, of course, you know, but I had a manufacturer that said, you know, for the next month, whatever that is, there's 3 extra points on it. That motivated the hell out of me. Marketing didn't have to print anything. Marketing didn't have to buy anything. They didn't have to spend anything. It was cost marketing nothing. And that drove me, because I'm like, wow, I have a choice of these 2 manufacturers to use. I'm making 3 points more on this. And that was a simple thing. The company probably had those margins anyway, because, you know, it's definitely when I'm selling when I'm selling a project or something, you know, we put the bids in, you get the bid, I win the order, next thing I know, what am I doing? I'm coming back to manufacturer, so how much you got on the back end? You know, that's what's going on, right? So it's there already, but boy, every order that I could, I went to that for those 3 extra points.
Now-
And because I'm money driven, obviously as a salesman, that's.
Does the manufacturer approach you? I mean,
No, they approach the company.
Yeah.
so it's not, they don't just come to each individual salesperson and say.
Correct. No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, no.
We wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and
No.
we don't offer a spiff to our outside sales
Yeah.
team. That's for our inside and our counter.
Yeah.
All right, I know we're coming up on the clock here. I saw Travis's hand go up first, so let's try to fit 2 more, if we could. I know, bang, right there.
When it comes to a general contractor who's 50 to 65 years old, I feel like we have 30, 45 years of experience and research. We know what works for them. We know they like to put their hands on things. They like slide rules. They like brochures, and they like to read. I'm just curious that I know in the next 10 years or so, we're going to see a big demographic shift. And it's their kids who it's, you know, a lot of family businesses. It's the 21 to 30-year-olds who are entering that industry. I'm just curious what kind of trends y'all have seen in the way they interact, whether it's, I mean, are they, you know, from the stereotypical, you know, do they come in on their phones to what seems to reach them, what are big talking points with them? I mean, is there a way that they have more brand loyalty, less brand loyalty? I'm just kind of curious what insights y'all have on that. You see it more often than we do in our office. That maybe hasn't been talked about a whole lot this week.
Well, you know, it's interesting, I'm sorry, and it's not exactly what you're talking about, but it sort of is. So one of the things that Billows has been talking about recently, because everything is so innovative and the relationships and the face-to-face has gotten a lot less in our industry, it makes it a lot harder for people to work their way up through the company, because now if they're in the warehouse, they just have a scan gun, and they're scanning barcodes, and they're this and that, and they're taking away, and they're putting away. They're not touching and feeling and looking at the product and learning what it is. So in order to get somebody from the warehouse to the counter, and I know it's completely off topic, but sort of not, because I don't think on every level everything needs to be completely automated, because it needs to be about the relationship. So somehow we all have to figure out how to do both, so that the guy can be on his phone, but still have that interaction. That's my opinion.
I have, just today alone, I can't tell you how many orders I wrote via text.
Oh, yeah.
I find that interesting. You know, and these are guys that are, you know, younger and older. And I think even some of the guys that are, one that is coming to mind, I mean, the guy's been in the business for like 30-some years. The guy, he's got to be 60 years old. He's texting me POs, numbers, part numbers of everything that he wants.
On his time frame.
Yeah, and it's really kind of interesting that that's his choice, opposed to picking up the phone or shooting me an email or calling my inside guy. And I am instantly responding to him, got it, you know, and he just has that comfort, and it's there. I send it to my inside person, they got it, and it shows up at their shop the next day. They
John,
could do the, you know.
Do you feel that butterfly effect, you mentioned the one guy, but do you feel that butterfly effect of that 25, 26, 27-year-old journeyman working with their master, and the master who's grizzled and salty is starting to transition to the ways of that younger generation?
They're definitely, I mean, you're the younger, but they are. And all of everybody, it's just in nature. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, because, you know, they're the younger generation, they're ordering their Starbucks and their Chipotle before they ever walk in off of their phone, and they're getting it, you know, they want to be serviced and they want everything quick. And it's just common sense for them to do the same thing and bring that behavior into this type of job. If they're younger, they're just used to it. They don't even know any
They don't know
other
any
way.
better, yeah.
They don't know any other way. That's
Yeah,
just
go
what
ahead,
it
Mike.
is. And I have a contractor, it's a very big contractor, and it's a father-son. The father operates one way, the son absolutely operates the other way. And as far as using technology, his father is old school. Still, I think he went to send me a fax, and I was confused about what it was. I'm like, I go, this is 2025. Oh, it's not? 27, you still want to send me a fax on something? He goes, yeah, I'll fax the PO over. And I'm like, he goes, what's the fax number? I go, I don't know. I don't even know if we have one, but I'll go look. I think it's right next to the typewriter.
Yeah, right next to the pencil
Yeah,
sharpener.
exactly. Right. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike, do you want to follow up on that?
Well, I was going to say, it wouldn't be a very interesting panel if we all agreed. So
Yeah.
I'm going to throw at Jan a little because,
nice.
and not, I don't know who's right here, but I do think the millennials, I mean, I've got a 30 and 31-year-old, and, you know, first of all, they can consume a lot more information. They don't get bogged down in the details. They want to be digital. They want to be fast, and I'm not sure they want the personal relationships. And, you know, this industry has been famous for that, and, you know, this industry has also been guilty at times to hanging on to the past. And, you know, I can tell you NAED meetings 20 years ago, the whole families used to come, and that went away. And so there is not as much of that relationship, what I see, as there used to be. And, you know, knowing the way my kids are, I mean, you know, if you got something they want it, but they don't want to be your friend. So.
But it's also up to the salesman. That's where they may not want to be my friend. Trust me, my plate is full of friends. I don't have any more room, but sometimes I got to make some new friends. You know, I force my way into them liking me. So that way, you just got, but I do, I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but I definitely think, at the end of the day, I think, you know, people I don't think people give money to buildings. They give money to people. And,
We still have to be prepared for both, is really what it boils down
Let's be
to.
flexible.
I think Kim had a question.
Real quick, it's 4:03. I know that there's another session in 12 minutes. I want to give you guys time to, you know, that transfer. Do you want to take another? I know you had a question.
It's okay,
You're
I can
good?
wait.
Let's just do, if you guys are cool with sitting in, let's keep rolling. Okay, go ahead, bud. Yeah.
In this digital age, how important is print in terms of catalogs and?
Can I give a quick?
I think the only place.
This is crazy. So, you know where I'm going. So, we had our annual or biannual, we call it Power University, right? So there's 300, it was like 600 people, Siemens people, come down, we're a week, we train, we network, we do all this fun stuff. The highlight for the majority of the 600 folks in the room was then when they announced the 2017 SpeedFax catalog. Right? This guy. We had him printed one since 2011, but you know, the online is always updated. We got apps that have the real live time information, and people were hooting and hollering. I'm sitting back there with Travis, and we're like, what is going on? What is happening? As soon as that thing's printed, it is out of date. All right? We make amendments and addendums and changes to product all the time. Every Friday, the website is updated with the latest and greatest. So how important is it? I think it's a generational question, to be quite honest with you, because when I'm talking to some of the younger channel folks, you know, I'm 39, so I'm kind of in that middle range there of millennial to Gen Xer, but no, they want apps, they want this, they just want to carry this thing around. You know, in the back of my car, I've got boxes of catalogs. I live in the Northeast. I get a hold down for traction. That's what I use them for. I don't give them out to anybody. I just make sure my car doesn't slide in the snow, right? But you go in and you talk to some other folks, and they're like, where's that catalog? Where is it? I need it. I need to feel it. I need to touch it. So
Producing them all the time, it's the same problem. I'm sure everybody has the same problem. Everything's out of date by the time it's print.
and the cost to implement cases upon cases upon cases is astronomical.
And ship it. We just ship it out to everybody.
And when you order, you need one, but yet you order one box, so you get 16, right?
That's right.
So I don't know. That was my.
I just
answer.
dropped off, literally, it had to be this big on like last Tuesday, a customer, but he was looking, it was more decorative stuff. You know, and they asked me a question, I hate that line, I'm like, I don't know, go on the internet, tell me what you're looking for, I'll find something similar, there's 50,000 options, you know, but he wanted to see something because his end customer needed to touch and look at something. But I agree, I mean, if you can, like not to give Rep Files a plug, but I will, but Rep Files, which is great, and I use it all the time, to be able to take, talk to a customer and be in the moment. I'm on my phone and they'll ask me about something and I will, oh really? Well, I can search it, bring it up on my phone. I can send them a cut sheet. Right? What's your email or what's your phone number? I'll text it to you right now.
Watch a
Boom.
video.
It's right there. I send it to them in the moment. They've got it and they like it.
But not every manufacturer is on Red Files.
Correct. Not every, right. Yeah. Not everybody's on there.
But at the counters, you prefer having catalogs?
At the counter? We have no catalogs at the counter. The only place that we have catalog, I shouldn't say that. We have some catalogs at the counter, but it's really not something it's become less and less.
Yeah.
Our
It's-
lighting showroom has the most catalogs, because I think the ladies that come in like to take them home, spread them out, decide which chandelier they're going to buy.
I think it's like probably on devices or
Yeah.
controls and those sorts of things where maybe you're not 100% educated.
Yeah.
It's good because somebody will be asking about a process. I'm like, I don't know. I'll flick out the catalog. We can look through it together, or I can give it to them. And especially when you get in like some Decora design or something with.
But I don't think they're catalogs. They're mostly brochures at this point, right? Sometimes.
It just depends. Yeah. It depends.
We'll field your question, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah.
I've been in distribution for over 20 years, but in building materials. So I came from a sister kind of industry, and what I was really hoping to hear is, are there any differences that I should be aware of in the electrical industry? And I know that may not be a question you can answer if nobody else has industry experience outside of electrical. But are there any idiosyncrasies or things that we have to do in order to market to the electrical industry?
Can I answer that real quick? So I didn't grow up in this industry. I've been here for 11 years, Siemens 11 years, the only electrical industry job I've had, but I came from the financial industry. So I'm a registered financial advisor. I still have my licenses, and I would meet with doctors and professors and essentially try and get them to transfer their dollars from where they were over to my company under the guise of retirement counselor. And one parallel I've seen between that field and what I'm doing today is story selling, right? You have to, just what Park was talking about, and I don't want to give him a plug, but I believe it so much, that if you are selling on features, benefits, widget, cost, service, that's just your point of entry, right? Everybody has it. Everybody has the same stuff. We are a commodity-based business. But you got to find that story within that commodity and tell it. So I would do story selling with my doctors because a lot of the funds that they were in, they all kind of did the same thing. So I used a baseball analogy, all right? If you've based on your account statement, you've got a left fielder and you got a third baseman. What if the ball's hit up the middle? You got nothing. That run's going to keep scoring. You're going to lose dollars. But going with us, we have all these different options. We can plug all those holes. Oh, light bulb goes off. He transfers money. My wife's happy, right? Same thing here on the marketing side with as Siemens as a manufacturer. We make great boxes. So what? What does that mean? What is it? Who cares?
We would say the product is dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's right. So how do you facilitate and amplify your story to hit those market segments that you're trying to grow with? So that's my answer. I see that parallel and that. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else does.
I've had some experience in other verticals, and I don't know as much about building products, but like fluid power or industrial or PVF. There's been consolidation in the electrical channel, but not as much as some others. So what I see here is there's a lot more competition. I mean, Billows has 3 or 4 competitors that are within the Philadelphia area, and a lot of the same products are there. And I used to joke and say, I go to industrial supply shows, and everybody's just happier because there's less competition. and electrical distributors have a tough job. A lot of competition, same products. So how do you differentiate yourself?
Well, good. I hope this was a fulfilling session. I thank you all for making it one of your 2 choices. I know you had a lot of them, so
Thank you.
appreciate it. Take care.